And we're almost back. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. Alicia had started the last one. This is where teamwork, you know. So we got Tracy. We're going to have Keisha and Greta will get back on with us now.
Can you get the...
I know, our kids. Neuter. I am so sorry. I didn't know. I guess with the weather and stuff today, you just never know. The internet went out, and I couldn't do anything, and the computer had to refresh. So technical challenges happen. And no matter what, you just keep going. And I guess Tracy was good. She had to change her diaper, and you see her happy baby just smiling away. And so hopefully you can still hear me. And I want to thank everybody that came on and was patient to change throughout both of the hangouts here as I went out. And Valerie is my awesome backup and technical person. She does the backside of the website, hook up a new hangout, knows the coding, and she's my extra technical girl. So we've actually been back and forth when one's been at the park or something with their kids doing the hangout live on the go. The other one's technical on the computer and put all the codes in. So we are the mommy, you know, massive work together team, and we're so happy. Thank you so much for Tracy coming out and showing us those different shifts that we've had.
I would love, Alicia, what was the last thing you heard? Because I want to make sure everybody caught, because what Tracy was sharing was so powerful. What was the last thing that you heard before you kicked out?
The word belief.
Yeah. What was the last thing that you heard? Because it was, I want to make sure that everybody got, I mean, we were sitting there and all of a sudden we're like, oh goodness, we're off air. It was so powerful. What was the last thing that you remember before the internet connect you out there for a sec?
I don't remember anything she said. Right as soon as she started talking, it cut out, and I only heard the word belief before it went totally gone.
Okay. Do you remember her talking about Lawrence Tam?
No.
That part? No? Okay, we got to go back to that. That tells me a lot. That actually says a lot right there. Tracy, would you be willing? Because what you were talking about was the shift that you went with from where you were going from, you know, the belief to the certainty to seeing what other people, all of that. We're muted. We can't hear you. You're muted right now.
Aha. Okay.
There you are.
All right.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what I said, but we'll give the gist. It's the premise is the same. It is what it is. I believe we were talking about going from the $27,000 a month and then recognizing how that could translate into $1 million or something like that. And I was saying that, you know, that first month it was awesome to break the barrier of the $8,000 to $10,000 a month. So that was great. But honestly, I was not focused on making $1 million the first month that I made that 27, because I was more focused on how consistently could I make the 27. Because in this industry, people could very easily gunshot, you know, make 5 figures in 1 month, right? But then the next month, it's a serious decline. And sometimes we attribute that to, oh, they had a team and they brought their team over, and once all their team brought everything up, well, now the next month it's back to where it was before, right, with very little activity or purchasing activity. And so I was more concerned with, all right, let's see if we can do this a second month, right? Now let's see where it can be a third month. And after that third month of, you know, $30,000 a month or whatever it was, that's when I started to actually believe that this little system, this little training, this program, this company, this movement, this community, whatever you want to call it, this thing was the real deal, right? Now, I knew it was real before, but I mean, it was to consistently do it, and with me not being the only person it was consistently working for, means that it's not a fluke for me. It's not luck for me. It's not anything that's particular to me. There's different people that are making way more than me, you know, that first out the gate of the company, that they were consistent too, right, or increasing. And so that really just solidified for me that, all right, I'm going to kind of put my eggs in this basket. I'm going to put them all in this basket. And I know that traditional thinking says you shouldn't do that. And I understand that too, right? But I believe that when you believe in something, right, that you got to give it all that you have. Now, I'm not saying don't be cognizant of other things going around. I'm not saying be blind and be, ignorant. What I am saying, though, is when you believe something so deeply, when you believe in a vision, when you believe in certain people, when you believe in certain ideas and certain mechanisms and certain converging of, earth and circumstances coming together, when you believe in that, then you really can't help but put all your eggs in that basket, because that energy can speed up and that can take things to a greater level. Right now, I believe that with a lot of the leaders at that time doing that is what helped to propel the catapulting success that the company had, right? And we're still having, but just out the gate as a brand new company 3 years ago, I think it was because of the belief of the people that it happened, okay? As well as success that people were having. Now, it wasn't really until maybe I was saying Lawrence Tam, I think we got a notice or something that Lawrence was like, a few $1,000s off from making $1 million or something like that. I don't remember exactly how much, but it was something like he's close, right? And we're like close to $1 million. Now, we didn't have a way to calculate. I mean, who was calculating their money, right? I mean, you guys know how it is back there, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just worried about what's my check this week, right? And what's coming this Wednesday, right? Let alone adding up everything over the full term, right? And when that happened and I started to add up my numbers, I realized I wasn't that far off, but I never was prompted to add up all my numbers until we had, a collective amount from Lawrence, right? And I'm thinking, good Lord, $1 million, right? And so then Lawrence eventually hits that, and then Tony Rush hits that, I think, and then, like I said, Vic kind of came in out of, I don't know, a jet out of a cloud, and skyrocketed and did some wonderful, remarkable things, and he did it, and then they hit 2 million, and then Tony hit 2 million, right? And then I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous, all right? I know that it is possible to make $1 million. Okay, I'd seen it already, right? It was indisputable that it was possible to do it, right? The issue was, did I believe that I could do it? Okay, and the difference between that belief and the certainty that I could do it is where some work had to be done on me, right? The certainty of it. I believed it could, but I wasn't certain that I could, and even David Wood began to say, like, we would have different mastermind meetings, and he would say, Trace, come on, you're like a $250,000 a month girl. Like, you already know this, right? I'm like, yeah, I don't know, Dave. I mean, you're saying that, and I believe you, David, but I could not conceive that, right? What the mind of man can conceive, he can achieve, right? And I could not conceive it. Therefore, achieving something you can't conceive is impossible. Right? And so I didn't grasp it fully, and I believed, but I wasn't certain. And so some of the examples I gave was that, there's a big difference between belief and certainty. You don't have to believe that your birthday is your birthday because you're certain that that's your birthday, right? Whether it's from birth certificate or your parents told you or whatever, there's nothing to believe about that, right? It's, that, right? I don't have to believe that I have a son. I know that, right? No one can convince me otherwise. There's no amount of whatever to tell me that I need to believe it and this and that. No, I know, right? And I said, I need to know that I can make $1 million. Not believe it, I need to know it, okay? And so I had to do some more work in personal development in shifting some things. And there's a product now, Top Producer Formula, beliefs and attitudes, I think module 2, where Dave goes over some of this stuff, right? But before this product came out, we were doing some of this work, right? Working with his brother Will, right? And I would talk to Will. I'm like, Will, come on, you got to help me because there's some stuff in here that is stopping me from doing it, Will, and I know that I can. He goes, okay, we'll work on it, just whatever, right? And I was literally going through these processes to get it, to get it. I believed it, but I didn't know it. So eventually I said, well, all right, I got to a point where I knew I could. Right? There was nothing stopping me. I knew I could. I could see the numbers I had accumulated thus far, right? It wasn't like it was far off in the distance. it was plausible, right, to do. And so now I needed to just decide that I was going to do it, right? And that didn't happen for me until Denver. I believe we were in Denver. That was an event for me where I said, if I see one more person make $1 million, get a ring, whatever it is, whatever the, external accolade is, I'm going to like kill myself. Not really, but I'm going to kill myself if I don't put myself in a position to accomplish the goal. You know what I'm saying? And I decided Denver that it was going to happen by January, Miami, right? That's when I decided that that's it. Like they said, that's it, period. I'm doing it. And there's nothing that anyone can say, do, preach, tell, convince, try to, whatever. It's happening, okay? And from that Denver event all the way through to the Miami event, that's all I focused on. All I focused on was building numbers, building sales, helping my team members build sales, right? Build more product sales and helping more people to get access to the trainings that we provide and actually use them. Because if you use the trainings, then we can shorten the learning curve on what you're doing, and then you can go to work and be more precise with what you're doing as opposed to shooting in the dark, right? Which is what most people like to do. They like to buy the products just to have them and then continue to ask questions like, well, what do I do? What's a solo ad? Where do I go? Well, what's the best place to start marketing first, right? Okay, how about go through the products, right? And I began to just direct people back, right? And focus on making more product sales and helping my team members do that. And then when Miami came, you guys were in Miami, right? Or at least I know Alicia was in Miami. Valerie, you were in Miami? Okay. Greta, were you in Miami? You might not have been in Miami. Okay. But we had workshops in Miami, right? We had workshops. And earlier in the day at the workshop, well, let me see. Before the workshop, before we got to the event, I was probably about $20,000 away or $15,000 away from hitting it before getting to Miami, right? So we're going to Miami, and I'm thinking, oh, Lord, I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's got to, right? I decided it was going to, and I don't know how, right? It's not my job to figure out how, but it's just got to. It just has. And then we had Friday and then Saturday. I knew it was going to be the ring ceremony that evening. I knew Justin and Dee were going to be getting their rings. I knew some things were going to be taking place. And we had workshops earlier that day. Now, ironically, at the workshop, I had shortened the gap. I was down to $5,000 within the goal, right? So now I'm like, okay, this is great, right? I only need $5,000 more. And I said that in the workshop. Right, that I only need $5,000 more. This is before everything else happened. I only need $5,000 more. And then, stuff starts to happen. We get backstage. They get ready to start the ring ceremony. They release a product. My team is going bananas. And me and Nicole are on our phones. We're emailing. We're texting. We're sending ourselves to our list. And kind of right as all this was happening, we hit the goal. Right? We hit the goal like in the middle of the ring ceremony. Right? In the middle of it. It wasn't too early. It wasn't too late. It was right smack dab on time. Right? Which for me was more of a confirmation, which changed the belief in something else. Right? It helped me to then shift and say, even though I always said before, don't worry, it'll happen when it's time to happen. Right? Now I actually believed and knew that you have to stick to your belief even when it appears that it may not happen. Right? You can't let the fact that time is running out. We're obsessed with time in this society. So time is running out, and the date and the deadline and the exact moment in time that I wanted to happen, you've got to hold on to the vision so tight, regardless of how close or how overdue or whatever you convince yourself that it was happening, okay? And I just held on to the belief that it has to happen, right? I knew that it was going to happen. I just felt that it was going to happen. It had to. You know what I'm saying? All I can say is that it had to. And it did. And when it did, and I had a chance to speak, I mean, you saw, you know, the authenticity behind it. You saw it in real time. You experienced it for yourself. What a better way to convince an audience of people of holding on to your beliefs and knowing what's possible than to have you witness it taking place, right? So that's why Miami was like so important to me, because I believe that through me, right, through me, did I hit a goal? Yes. Was it great? Awesome. But I just believe through me and using me as a tool at that time, somebody's life was changed in that moment, because now they began to believe because they saw it. They began to trust because they saw it, you know. And I was so grateful for the opportunity to hit the goal at that time, at that moment. Yeah, because it was great for me, but it was 5,000 people or 3,000 people out there that could stand to gain something more than $1 million, something far greater than that. You know, that was just the measurement of what we were trying to accomplish at that time. So belief to certainty was a shift. And I'm constantly working on certainty, right? Because just because you are certain about one thing doesn't mean that you're certain about everything, right? When I was pregnant, I wasn't certain how he was coming out, right? I mean, I planned for a natural birth, right? And had the birthing pool and went through everything and had midwifery stuff done, and everything was all natural. Got there, and I mean, we were great rocking and rolling until 6 centimeters, and then all of a sudden things changed, right? Things changed. I didn't know what was going on. I was in a lot of pain. The nurses were saying that my bladder was blocking him, right? Then it wasn't the bladder blocking him. They drained the bladder, so that wasn't the issue. And then his heart rate started dropping, right? And then he pooped, right? So now we have to do emergency C-section, right? You got to get him out. They had to put me to sleep because I didn't have epidural, I didn't have any of that stuff, and the time was winding down. So they had to put me to sleep. I didn't know anything about how he got out, right? I went in and he was in there, and I came out and he was gone, right? I don't remember any of that. I wasn't certain how that was going to happen, you know? There are certain things you may not be able to put your hands on, but there are other things that you can get darn close. You know, you can get close enough to make it happen, to manifest it. And that shift for me has been one of the most powerful shifts, because I think it's the one that will allow me to do things that seem to be impossible, right? Because now I can go from belief to knowing, and I can take myself through that exercise every single time I need to shift to put myself in that position mentally and spiritually before I can expect anything physically and naturally to occur. So, Valerie, did we kind of hit back on the points that you wanted me to get back on? Did we get that out good enough?
Yeah, and you were also talking about how you were using the inner circle even from the very beginning, and how that helped you to go from that process of belief to.
Yeah, because see, the inner circle when I first got started, we only had 3 products, right? We only had the blog, the inner circle, and Costa Rica. That's it. So to make $27,000 off of a $625 sale, right, is a lot harder than what the majority of the people have access to today, right? Because there's an upward potential of $46.25 or something, or whatever it is. So I don't believe that people are worse, right, now with having $1,000 products and $3,500 products, you know, with commissions of $1,000 and $3,000. I mean, I just don't think people are worse. I think they're better, right? And it's a mind shift that they have to make, because to be able to do that with $625 takes a lot more sales, right, than it does the other way. And that inner circle was really all I had in terms of what I could tap into on a consistent basis from an audio perspective, right? Listening to the calls on Mondays and then being able to double back on the recordings. You know, I'm a reader too. Like, I love to read, but the thing is, sometimes you get tired of reading. Even as a reader, I don't want to read all the time, right? So I want to listen. I want to use my other learning, you know, senses. And that inner circle was that knight in shining armor for me to listen to how Lawrence was doing what he was doing, listen to what, Justin is doing, to listen and to grasp how David and how David Sharp at that time, what insight they had. I mean, if you ever want to know or be mentored by someone who has what you want, and you have an opportunity to listen to them tell you at different points, different perspectives, right, different areas of it. The Inner Circle audio was literally the golden goose, right? That's what it was, and that's how I learned a lot of different things. I went through shifts by listening to shifts other people made, and over time, as you start to solidify those things in your own spirit, right, your own heart, and you, boom, that's there, that's not leaving, and you grab another one, boom, it's settled, that's there, it becomes foundational for you, that now it's nothing, right? It's nothing. I could add another principle on top of the foundations that I have now, and it shouldn't take as long to manifest stuff, right? Because I've got the other ones in place. And so Inner Circle, if there's nothing else, right, at anyone's fingertips or disposal, Inner Circle, bar none, is the #1 personal development audio training I think that there is, coming from a variety of backgrounds, cultures, people, races, religions. It's all there. And if you could just find 1 or 2 people that resonate with you, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You don't have to relate to everybody. We just pick, your favorite 1 or 2, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that Inner Circle is probably more valuable than the Masters when you add up how many months you're actually going to be paying for it and how many audios are actually back there. And people don't realize, I was like, look, it's $100 a month, and it's really actually more valuable than the Masters course. So, and it surprises me that people will stop paying for it in order to save up to get to the Masters, and I'm like, you're missing out. That Inner Circle audio is going to help you manifest in time. Take that Inner Circle insight to get you to find the resources to get that Masters, and it's very, very powerful. Thank you, Tracey. A lot of light bulbs went off to just putting it together. I think a lot of people want to know, what was that, how you put it all together, and just sharing those resources of what we use to. I can't believe you were $20,000 away at the event. That's just crazy.
It was bananas. It was something ridiculous like that. Where it's like, oh, under conventional wisdom, I would have said this is not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. Like, I would have planted the seed for it to happen all this time. Yeah. All this time from Denver. We were for 6 months. And then walking into the event, I really had the opportunity to pull up all the roots. I could have uprooted everything I planted simply with my mind not believing it was possible.
Yeah.
We better let her go so she can touch a little Josiah. We really appreciate you spending all this time.
Yeah. So, I hope that this is kind of the angle that you guys wanted to go, with the shifts, and I'm delivering what you thought would be of value to your audience, because that's really what I would have to put my hands on in terms of what it has been for me. I'm not a technical person. Okay, poo-poo. I'm not a technical person. I'm not the one that's sitting there doing all the split testing, right, and the conversions, and, oh, my God, it's got to work like this. This is the capture page exactly, right? That's not my swag on how I do stuff, right? I leverage other people that do that, like Lawrence, right, like Anna and Alex Zubarov. I leverage them because that's not my thing, right? My thing is inspiring the people. My thing is going out there, taking action. I believe if somebody says the page is converting at 40%, I believe that, right, based on who's saying it. And then I go out and try to get as much traffic to it as I can and get 40%. I don't spend all my time trying to disprove whether it's 40%. My job is to make transactions. We get paid to make transactions, and that's what I encourage people to do, and hopefully inspire them to go out there and not be afraid to do.
Yeah, powerful, because people are wondering, what is your daily internet, internet, what would you call it? You're trying to help me out, Greta. Income-producing activities.
Yeah, income-producing activities.
Because it's different for everybody, you know. She's gonna have a different one from all of us. So
it was actually a question put out by one of our guests watching with us today, Shakira, and she was we were all on the call. Unlikely, all of us were on the call last night. As like totally laid it all out and exactly what she did. I know that, you know, we're definitely stretching this hangout, but our guests are actually sitting here just hanging on the edges of their seats, enjoying everything that you are talking about. So, if you could for us just sort of give us an overview of what your days look like a little bit as far as your IPAs go.
Okay. Let me preface this by saying that my IPAs now are different than my IPAs were when I was at a different financial point, okay? And so I want to disclose that over time these things will change, and by no means am I sharing this in a way to convince you that you should, if you're not where you want to be financially, I'm not saying that you should do it exactly the way I'm doing it, right? And it's going to work. You have to build up to a certain point, all right? And so now it's completely different. Now, when I first got started, Nicole will tell you, I had a Excel spreadsheet, and I called it my move, right? My daily move, my daily method of operation. And I would give this out to my team where it charted what I did from 9:30 in the morning in like almost an hour increments, all the way through like 4 o'clock in the evening, right? Including when I took my own lunch break, right? Because I gave myself lunch. And, okay, baby, okay. I gave myself lunch. And I literally, at 9:30 in the morning, I would get up. And I remember what it was mainly because it's not that far off now. It's just I don't have to be that strict with myself. Okay, because my habit and pattern is kind of ingrained now. But I would get up and I would do a little bit of research and come up with some content that I was going to create for my blog. Okay, this was even way before Empower, right? It had nothing to do with this. Was just what I did. Okay, I created content for my blog, and then what I would do was I would write it, and then I would turn that written content into a video, right? So I would say it. Then I would take it and create like a little PowerPoint. I would have my virtual assistant do a little PowerPoint, and I would put it on SlideShare, right? I would try to repurpose that content as many times as I possibly could. I would do an audio version, right? I would extract the audio from the video and then put the audio actually on, what was it, BYO audio I had at that time? Oh, my goodness. Okay, cool. BYO audio. And I would then share the audio, right? I would do everything I could do. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. He's probably a little hungry now.
Yeah, we need to let you go. At least later on.
So basically, I do blog, right? I do blog content, things of that sort. I repurpose that content. Then what I do now is I find traffic. I have a couple of traffic sources that I like to use, and then I will go and I will actually, buy some traffic. Okay. Now, if I have traffic I already purchased for the week and it's still running, I won't have to worry about it. But ultimately, I'm trying to buy traffic. So I'm doing two sides of the same coin. On one side, I have my long-term strategy, which is content creation, right? Which I don't personally expect. Some people think they're going to blog and, make $1 million straight from the blog their first 3 months. And I didn't have that expectation, right? I looked at my blog as, remember, I was coming from offline, and I used to do flyers. And my thing was, if I could do a flyer and I put the flyer in somebody's car and it rained, then the flyer is gone, right? But if I did a blog post and I got that blog post to rank on Google, no rain, snow, sleet, or hail could take my flyer away, right? So to me, it was a long-term strategy to just have flyers everywhere. And that's what I look at that as. I look at that as credibility. Okay, cool. Okay. Mommy's coming. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
We were supposed to be done.
Oh, but you gotta feed the
baby.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to jump off and run.
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
If you can get other answers.
We love you, Tracey.
You did good. Thank you.
And I'll be happy to come back on maybe and do like a part 2 if we need to.
Okay.
And do a part 2 if you guys want. Just let me know. But yeah, Josiah's like, that's enough. I've had enough.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That was very
All
good.
right, guys, thank you.
Absolutely. So everybody, yeah.
Love
Thank
you.
Those of you,
Bye-bye.
button below.
Bye.
Click the button below if you want to connect. You can click on the button below and access. If you're not already on our team in our system, and you want to know what it is that we're talking about, what it is that Tracey's using, the system, she keeps talking, access to it is below. Access into the system, access to get into the blog, to get into the inner circle, and everything else that we're talking about. Click on that button below, and when you get to the other side, we'll be there with you to assist you in the ways that we've been talking about. So thank you, everyone. And I don't know if we
Thank you, Valerie.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Woo, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Everybody hanging in there. You're still here. You're still with us. That means something very powerful for you. That means that this is something, that means that this is your time. So if you're already with us, you know what to do. Take action. Those of you that are new to us, click on the button below. Whoever's invited you to this page, that will connect you to them. And we will all see you next week. We have a very, very powerful hangout at the exact same time, same back channel. And stay tuned. We'll see if we might talk to Tracey about that part 2. Anybody else? You all good?
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Love you all. Bye.